Let's see if we'll wait for people to come in.
Good old Ghana Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so I mean, people will be able to see this as it's recording right now. This is all being recorded. So what I'll do is let's start off right here. This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. And as we sit here and wait for people to come in, we'll go ahead and we'll start our conversation here in a second. We got one person coming in, so we'll wait.
We got 10 people in.
Got 10 people in right here.
That jumped exponentially.
How's everybody doing this evening? All right. Can y'all hear and see us well? We're having some technical difficulties. Peace, family. Good to be here tonight. Thanks, Corey. What's up? Two unforgotten. Hello, fam. How we doing? Okay, we sitting on 33. Quaba. Okay, great. You hear us loud and clear? Good. Hello. Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Hopefully everything is well. Hopefully that those who have put your stock and trust into the government and went out and cast your vote, I hope that your candidate
will win.
Will win, you know. Hey, it is what it is. But hey, we're chilling over here in Kumasi, Africa. We're gonna wait for a few more people to come in because we know that there was over about 400, close to 400 people that was on the last live that was really interested in the topic that we have tonight. So please, hey, put in where you are from, where you're living at currently right now, excuse me, where you currently are living at. Let's give greetings to all of you all. All right, from Washington, D.C., we have red, gold, green. Okay, all right. We got Pittsburgh in the house, Rio Green, Pittsburgh, London, African Pride, the ATL. Oh, this is going real fast. New York, New Jersey. Sorry, I can't mention really all of y'all names because it's going fast.
Netherlands.
Yes, Netherlands. All right. Arizona, Jersey. All right, Norcross. Oh, we got a lot of Georgians, whatever they want to call it, in the house. Kumasi. We got a local here. All right, Nana. Is that Afia? Afia. Africa. Toronto, Canada. Welcome. Yes. Miami. Indiana. All right. All right. Sweden. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're going to get started here, you all. I've got a very interesting topic here that I've been kind of just giving y'all a little heads up that we were going to have a very interesting interview with our sister here. We're going to let her introduce her name because I will probably mess it up.
Me too.
Let me give a little intro because my sister right here, we met on a tour. It was a group tour, Bomani Timba's tour called Africa is for the Africans. It was what, 3 years ago?
November 2018.
November 2018. And so we were on a tour together, and it was a group of us who either had some military background connections and all that there, or you know how it is, you connect with people. And so we kind of like hit it off because she's a military veteran retiree. I'm a military veteran retiree. And so we kind of kept in contact off and on, maybe, just to kind of see how things were. And while we were on the tour, she had connected with a brother that's here. And what's his full name you would call? Your husband. Her husband, yeah. Brother at the time.
Nana Chebakor Akrabampi.
All right. And so they kind of connected and everything, kind of built something there and kind of stayed in touch. And then it kindled into marriage. But the biggest question that, or the biggest thing that was surprising to me was the fact that my sister right here connected with a brother who is a chief for a community, and that they wound up getting married, and she was the second wife. She was the second wife to him, and that right there definitely piqued a lot of my interest and also a lot of questions. And so I thought it would be great that this story be told, because sometimes over in the Western world, we are caught into that you call it
Monogamous.
monogamous relationship or what have you. And you know, we are kind of more of an ownership, dominatory type of people with like you mine and I control you and this and that. And we can't seem to, you know, maybe get past the fact that, hey, you know, the old African tradition, is it for us? Is it real? And can it be, does it work? And, you know, is it something that all parties can profit off of or, you know, benefit from? And so we want our sister here, which I'm going to give her the introduction, to go ahead and share your name and tell a little bit about yourself, to share your little story.
Well, my mother named me Tiffany. But I wanted a name with a meaning, so my husband and his elders, after about 6-7 months of getting to know me, gave me the name Ya Ajimang Apambor. Which wants the meaning?
It's up to you.
Ya is my day name. I'm Thursday born. But Ajuman is savor of a nation. And Opambor is mender of broken stones or rocks.
Okay.
Which is a pretty big name.
Yeah.
Big shoes.
So what's your background? I mean, we know you was military. We know, where were you born and raised?
Southern California.
Southern California. So what part of California? Southern.
Born in LA, raised in Orange County.
Okay, so you know, a sister's been born and raised there in America, and so you kind of grew up there, and yeah, she said yeah, and the so you, what happened after you know you kind of grew up, left home? What'd you do?
I joined the military.
Joined the military. How many years you?
At 18, I spent 13 years in. I was medically retired.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it as I gave America my youth, but I wanted to come and give my own people my best.
Yeah.
So I went from the idea of I want to visit Africa one day, and I said, you know, no, I'm not gonna say I want to. I'm going to visit Africa. And I think within a week I booked the tour of Bomani.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was your first time?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So now, let me ask you this right here. This, you grew up, because I want people to know your background, because you know some people might look at you know you like, okay, well, she might be a little sedity, a little whatever, you know, you're a very educated woman, you know, you have been married before, won't go down that road because that, you know, but army, and you have grown kids in a sense, and you are very well educated, and you are a businesswoman. And so you're not just no fly-by-night little one that could be taken advantage of and be swindled and be beguiled or, you know, from trickery and all that right there.
No.
You know, this decision that you made to become the wife of a chief here in Africa, the second wife as well, was something that, one, that you thoroughly thought about and also considered the situation, because not only are you're not just by yourself, but you also have children involved.
Yes.
And so I know people are really interested in knowing, how is it that you was able to break through that wall and to getting past that monogamous relationship into where you are today? I mean, tell us a little bit, you know, like I said, background about yourself, and how did you become so open to this?
I've always just been very independent, just by nature. Growing up, I was the responsible person in my house as a child. And in my teen years, my mom passed away, so it left me with a lot more responsibility. So I joined the military and spent my time there, deployed a few times, and I got out. I had a lot of medical problems, but I still have my brain.
Still has your brain.
Still have my brain. So I went ahead and took advantage of my, education benefits. And just the more I was taking my own time outside of school to become more educated about who we are as a people,
Okay.
the more it piqued my interest about, okay, African American, but let me go learn about the African side of this African American, because I'm African. I was just born in America.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where my mind started opening. I started doing a little more, trying to understand, watching a lot of videos on YouTube, about people who live on the continent, and of course, a lot of people were in Ghana. So I booked my first trip here, and I guess a little more about how my husband and I met is we were on the tour, and I was coming to look at land as well. And through that process of looking at land, it was his land as a chief. So the middleman, I guess you could say, the person that was bringing me to look at the land, my husband came to pick us up to give us a tour of the area, so we'll know, what the land is. So we'll know personally, okay, it's his land, this is the person to go to. And we spent the whole day, we went looking at land, we went and ate, we went to, the lake, we went on a boat ride. And as time progressed, we just realized that we had a lot in common from talking. And, something was starting to kindle there.
Okay, so let me say something here. Okay, all right, so let me understand this. Because you came on the tour when I was on the tour, right? When did y'all meet?
When we got to Kumasi.
Okay, yeah, that was part of our tour. We got here to Kumasi, and so y'all somehow met each other.
Yes.
Okay.
By me going to try to look at land. It happened to be his land. I just didn't know that, so I didn't know he was going to be there.
Okay. Because now this tour that we were on is also an investment tour that was introducing us to land, and it just so happened that while we were in Kumasi, you wanted to go check out some land here in Kumasi.
The independent thing. Do my own thing.
Right. She broke away from the tour group and want to go ahead and search out stuff on her own, it was great because, like myself, after the tour ended and everybody went back to America, I stayed an extra week. So yeah, so she did her own thing. So you went and looked at some land where your husband right now, he owned that land out that way. And so that's how you met your husband.
Yes.
Okay, got you. Okay, and so y'all saw that there was something, maybe some chemistry going on and all that right there. And so what else? Or what?
So that first day, we do a tour. Let me back up a bit. When we first met him, he was wearing a really nice shirt. And so...
Women like shirts.
I'm new to Africa, I'm seeing these little prints and stuff. Oh, I like your shirt. And then I think he was getting ready to drive, so he pulled his arms up and he had this really nice bracelet on. So I was like, man, I like your bracelet.
Women like jewelry. All right. Okay.
And so he didn't really acknowledge. He's like, oh, okay, thank you. But after the day of spending time together, we're talking. At the end of the night, the rest of the group wanted to go out and they wanted to drink. But neither me or my husband, we really don't drink. So they were drinking and partying and we're just talking. And then he led me by the hand and took me to a seamstress to get a dress made that matched his shirt.
Women like clothes.
I'm not even that much of a clothes person.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't realize the significance of what that meant initially because I just didn't know. And then towards the end of the night, when he dropped me back off at the Micklin, he took a bracelet off of his wrist and put it on mine.
Micklin is the hotel where the group of people, the tour was staying at.
Yes.
Micklin, yeah.
Sorry.
No.
So he took the bracelet off and put it on my wrist. So I'm thinking, okay, we're giving gifts. So let me go find something to give as a gift.
Okay.
I am so, because my last thing on my mind was trying to find a man. Like, it just wasn't on my mind. So I'm like, okay, we're giving gifts. It's just part of the culture. It's what we do. So I went upstairs and I'm like, well, I have these headphones.
Yeah.
Bose headphones, little on-the-ear noise canceling headphones. So I gave him those.
Hey folks, let me tell y'all this right here, okay? She's gonna tell her story, then you can ask your questions because we definitely don't want to miss your questions. But we're also gonna ask that for those who want to ask the questions, send a super chat because I know we're gonna be bombarded with a lot of questions. If you really want your question answered, we do know that you don't mind donating because hey, this right here is definitely costing the minutes and times, and that's all right. It's cool. But I know that a lot of people got questions because the questions are coming up right now and they're just flicking through and they're I don't know if you ever did live or not, but they kind of fade away and I lose them. I can't scroll through to capture them unless somebody knows a secret that I don't know. But but we'll open it up for questions here after she tells her story. Okay.
So yeah, he gives me this bracelet. So I'll go upstairs looking. I'm like, okay, what can I find? We exchanging gifts. And then the next day, the tour was going to Manshia Palace to do the museum tour. And we exchanged numbers. So he asked, "Oh, what are you guys doing today?" So I was like, "Oh, we're going to Menchia Palace." He happened to be there for a funeral, so I never even made it into the museum. He walked around the side of the palace and met me at the bus, and I spent the day with him at a funeral, which for me, of course, is a little weird just to go to someone's funeral. You don't know this person, but here culturally, it's not weird at all. So we spent that whole day together. I met his son at the time; he was a year old. We hung out at the prison canteen on the palace grounds.
Okay.
I thought it was just the name of the place, but it's actually the prison's canteen. Prison here is quite different, at least at the King's Palace. So we hung out there. Again, the other people who were with us were drinking, partying.
So now, so people understand now, her husband is a chief. Okay, so he is responsible and the head over a community, and so he has the liberty or the liberty to have some accessibility to the palace. Okay, and y'all just happen to be there at the palace. Okay, all right. Now hold up now. So y'all sisters out there now, you're talking about you looking for your king. She hooked up with one, all right? in a totally different way, which you might be accustomed to, but it's still, she got her king. Go ahead. So
it was actually that day. So after he saw me with his son, and I don't know if people have been here to Ghana, you'll know that children aren't as friendly off the bat as they are in America. They're not gonna smile at you. They're gonna look at you like you crazy.
The culture, they're very inquisitive and just kind of curious of who you are. Yeah.
They stare at you.
Kind of
for a
still
minute.
stare. Yeah.
So it didn't take long for me to break that ice with his son. So by about 5 minutes or so, he's eating my food, playing with me, playing peekaboo and such. So I think that was kind of like, oh, okay. So that second night we met, second day, is when he stopped dead in his tracks and looked at me and explained to me that, as a chief, he has to have a wife. To take the stool, you have to have a wife. And his family gave him a wife. But he also has the right to choose his own.
Okay.
And he wanted me to be his wife. So my first response was, huh? What do you mean? Like, how do you have two wives? Like, how does this work? So I had a lot of questions. And so the next day we were going to Cape Coast.
Okay, Cape Coast.
So I said, well, I have a lot of questions and I'm leaving tomorrow. And so before I could say yay, nay, maybe, I don't know, I have a lot of questions that need to be answered. So
And you knew him how long?
2 days.
And he wanted to marry you. Woo.
Yeah.
He asking you for your hand in matrimony. Okay, all right, okay.
And of course, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
As an African American woman, the name American is the operative word there. I've heard enough stories. I've seen enough posts about the level of romance scams that can happen.
People looking for that green card.
But I made it clear that I was moving to Ghana. That's why I was looking at land.
Yeah.
So if that was something that was on his mind initially, then it would have fizzled out after a while, realizing that you ain't coming to America on my dime because I'm moving to the motherland.
Plus, because of his position of being a chief, he
can't really leave like that.
Can't
He
really
can go
leave.
back and forth, but he can't live in America.
He's responsible for a community.
Yes,
right.
He has a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to Cape Coast tomorrow. So he's like, okay, I'm coming to Cape Coast tomorrow too. So he came to Cape Coast. I don't know if you remember seeing him in Cape. He came with us to the slave dungeons.
I
and
remember.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the time for us to kind of get a discussion about how does this work? What does it mean to be a second wife? What are those responsibilities?
Thank you, love for all.
I said, I don't know how I can share my husband. I don't know how this works. And so he just started discussing, there are some responsibilities as the chief's wife. For instance, if there needs to be a dispute settled, sometimes I might have to settle those disputes. And I'm kind of his eyes and ears. I'm a level of protection for him. I'm always behind him, looking around to make sure everything's good to go. And of course, military background, that's kind of natural for me to do.
Yeah. Yo, hold up, y'all. We gonna get to some juicy stuff, all right? Because I've seen the questions, all right?
About me and the other wife.
So one person was asking about, what about the wife? You know, she's, and also for those who's wondering, who's just chimed in, she's an African American sister from California. Okay, yeah, she was born and raised in America. Parents are American, and she came here on the tour. She had met a brother African here that you know, they kind of, you know, connected in a couple of days, and he was very intrigued by her. He was very moved, and he was very, you know, I guess you'd say moved in a way to where it was like, hey, there's something I love about this woman, you know. And I found myself, I found out that you know, Africans are, they're very interested in us outside of America. I mean, outside of Africa.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we have a total different dispensation than here in Africa, you know, and especially the African woman, because most African women, I ain't gonna say all, are more, thanks Jim, new charter, I appreciate it, helps a lot. A lot of African sisters are probably more business minded, and we're talking about those who are coming seeking out new land or traveling the world. There are sisters out here who are outspoken, who thank you Corey B, appreciate that. There are sisters out here who are what is it that he liked about you? I mean, what was that you know, because let's tell your story, not what men or Africans like, because you shared that how he said you were a little different than just the typical African woman.
And he's met a lot of African Americans too.
Yeah, go ahead and tell your story right there. I'm gonna get the chart.
Okay, he's met a lot of African American women, so it wasn't just the fact he's looking for any African American woman. I mean, for instance, Harriet Tubman's family came here looking to learn a little bit more of her background. So he was part of the team that was helping do research about her origins, and you know, knowing that her name was Araminta, and breaking it down for what that actually means locally. And so just by his position and such, he meets a lot of African Americans. So it wasn't just about, oh, I just need some random African American just because. I think he'll be better to actually answer, thank you. I think he'd be better probably to answer what it was that he found in me. But I think naturally when somebody's very different than what you're used to, it's always gonna be a level of curiosity. But I'm more bold, I'm not soft-spoken, I'm not meek. I've got a lot of life experience and different aspects of things. And one thing he does like, but it's one of those things where you like it, but it also drives you crazy, is that I'm a thinker. So that means that he is one less person to have to think for. Yeah, it should work. One less person to think for. So it kind of takes some of the stress off of him for having to be the person that's always thinking and doing because of his position. And so I kind of likened it to being an NCO in the military, where you have this immense responsibility for people that are grown, but ultimately you're responsible for them. So that's what I kind of likened it to. And I think that's also where I could be of help to him. But he mentioned even liking, I guess he noticed the way I walk. I don't know how I walk, but he noticed the way I walked, whatever that may mean. You can ask him that tomorrow.
Okay. Don't worry about the questions yet. We have open questions. They'll get you stuck. Just go ahead and tell your story. Yeah, you know. Please hold, all those who come in, just hold your questions, all right, to the end. And for those who really want to get their questions answered, you can do a super chat, because we know the questions will be coming in, and the only way we're going to be able to pause and ask is really that those are highlighted, we'll be able to read them. Keep them kind of, you know, short in a sense and not long paragraphs, because what I'm on right now is this live right here going through YouTube, and it will fade away. So, all right. So, okay. So that's what he liked in you. Mm-hmm. Okay. What did you like in him? Because we talking about this African love now, this black power love. We talking about that. So you met, y'all met 2 days. This guy's asking you for the matrimony. And then, you're like, hold up. Now, okay, all right. So what did you like about him?
His boldness.
Boldness.
So I had been asked probably about 4 or 5 different men when I was
Thanks,
here.
Ing Howard. I appreciate that. Much love.
To marry them.
Okay.
And I just kind of laughed. Like I said earlier, I wasn't coming here looking for a man. That was the last thing on my mind. I was enjoying my life. I moved here from Hawaii, living with me and my kids, just enjoying some life. So the last thing on my mind was, I need to find a man. I just wasn't thinking that way. So when I have all these different men asking me to marry them, and I'm like, you never even had a conversation with me. What's my name?
Yeah.
And so I laughed. But when he asked me, he was so bold and assured, like, I'm for him. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, okay.
And what about you? Was he for you? Apparently. I mean,
apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
After he asked me, we went to Cape Coast. So on the way, we went to Asamanso.
Thank you, love for all. Wow, appreciate that.
He wasn't playing. But we went to Asamanso, and when we got to the last bath, I sat down there at the river.
The last bath is the monument, or what would you call that? It's kind of like, it's like a monumental place of the last bath where the Africans took before they went into get on the ships, enslaved into the dungeons and stuff. Go ahead.
So at that point, my whole this man asked me to marry him to be his second wife, and I'm actually considering it. Like, I was kind of asking myself, well, who are you? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So I just sat there and prayed, because for me to even consider it, it was so far from my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
But I also felt so assured in it. And I can't really explain to you. I just felt settled in that, to the point where I even called my family and told them it was nothing abnormal about it.
Thanks, Appleweed Corporation. Go ahead.
It was so beside what I would have ever imagined for my first trip to Ghana.
So let me say this right here, okay? Some people are going to say, well, maybe you were desperate. Maybe you were looking for somebody. Maybe, the first thing coming, you're going to go ahead and jump on it. What do you say to that?
Absolutely not. So even some people thought, it's because he's a chief. And honestly, no. I've dated millionaires, and I'm really not a respecter of person. One of the first things I let it be known to him is that you're not my chief.
Thanks, Makoya. Yeah, you're not my chief.
You're not my chief. I can help you in that role of leadership. I can
hold y'all's questions, please. Hold y'all questions, okay? We're gonna get to it. All right, just hold your questions. We appreciate that, though, Makoya. You can ask it again.
You're not my chief, and I see where I can be of help in your life, and it goes farther than
Archie in that house. What's up, my man Archie? Oh,
it goes a lot.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It goes well beyond monetarily, which is what most people are going to assume. Oh, you're American dollars.
Okay.
But I hadn't even made it known to him that I was retired. So my thing was, and I still ask people today, by me moving to Ghana, I no longer have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I have money?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't put out there that I had any money. Even when I came, like we were talking earlier, I didn't come here with fancy clothes, dressed up. I came here in some sweatpants, some tennis shoes, some t-shirts, ready to come do some work, look for land, help some children. I wasn't here all flashy.
So he basically saw something in you during that conversation, and y'all sat down, y'all really kind of got to know each other, and it was something that he saw. I call it he saw his opposite sitting before him that you can become part of with him, and you with him with you, and you with him, to make a oneness and build off of probably what he already had, and you also build in what you had your desires for.
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right.
Well, I also believe that a lot of women, I can't speak for all, but in general, women have this within us. We need to find someone that we can truly help. We
Okay.
become equipped to help. The whole idea of, I say, you give us a house, we give you a home, you give us a seed, we give you a baby.
Mm-hmm.
We have this ability to bring to fruition things
Mm-hmm.
that men don't necessarily have as fully, or say the masculine doesn't have as fully as that's our role. So I felt like looking at all my experience in life, it fits so well with where he is today.
Okay, okay.
And because I wasn't looking for financial security from anybody, I wasn't looking to be rescued, I wasn't desperate for marriage. For me, not only did we connect, but it made logical sense. So for me, it was working out the logistics of how does this work. And so, we talked about it. And granted, I'm still learning, because one thing that I've learned big time is that bridging the gap of culture differences is far greater than people realize until you're in the midst of trying to bridge a gap of culture. And language barrier, it's not just about two people speaking English, because your English might not be the same as their English.
The understanding, yeah.
So just through those things, even in those beginning conversations, the longer I've been here, I realized there was some misunderstandings about what I am saying I need, what are my requirements, what do I want, what do you need. There was a level of misunderstanding, but we have enough love and respect to still work through those things.
Yeah.
And one thing he said was, what was it? Which president? Is it Macron? He's got a wife that's a lot older than him.
Okay.
And so he really believes in the saying, but behind every powerful man is a strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something he saw in me, is
Mm-hmm.
that person that can help him mature, help him be a strong leader, and help him in decision making. Because a lot of things that I help him to understand, he takes that in turn and goes back to his community to help settle disputes. So it's helped him in his capacity as a chief, because I'm a teacher as well as I'm a learner. So a lot of things that, just because, of course, when you grow up, when all of your friends from high school are still your friends, or from primary school, and you grow up in one area, you don't gain the knowledge from being like we are in America. We have all these different cultures, all different places, and then military-wise, just from really immersing myself with different people from all over the world,
Yeah.
it's given me experiences that not everybody has.
Okay, so let me ask you this right here, all right? Because we about to now dive in, y'all. We about to go in, all right? About to go in. Okay. Now, there was a comment that said, sounds like a business deal. Is there love involved in this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So there's love involved. Okay.
Very much so.
Okay. And
But
love is only based upon one's own definition, what they would call love. Because I don't think there's just, this
Universal definition.
a universal
Yeah.
definition of love. Okay.
It seems that way, and I'm sure it's because I'm a very logical person.
Okay.
So things have to make sense logically as well. I am honestly not a heart-led person. I'm a mind-led person.
Okay.
So
Ooh, that's deep right there.
even if I say, okay, my heart pitter-patters, but logically it makes no sense,
Yeah.
it can pitter-patter, but we don't have to be together. So there's a pitter-patter, but also logically, this made sense. Because how many times do people get married, fall in love, and then they fall out of love, supposedly, and they divorce?
True
So it
that.
has
True
to be
that.
more than just you love somebody. My mom always told me love doesn't make things work, and love doesn't pay the bills.
Okay. Okay. So there's some upbringing teachings that actually molded you and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. So now, all right. It made sense. You're a logical thinker. Let's talk about the first wife. That's what people waiting on.
Y'all still waiting.
Everybody waiting on this first wife. How did the first wife take this? How is it now?
I can be a cream puff.
So how is it that now you are the second wife, African American sister, born and raised in California, left with the military, have all the intellect, got all the degrees and everything on the wall, and you connect with a brother, you become the second wife, and now you have this first wife. Was it contentious? Was it a arm wrestling? How was it for you and her? How did she receive this and all?
In the beginning,
And let's mind you, y'all got married when?
officially,
Yeah.
July.
Okay.
Because even though I was here, I wanted to make sure I was making the right decision.
Okay. This past July.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Officially.
Yes.
Now, what's unofficially?
Ask him. The minute I got here, I was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
From the time that he's met me, and I agreed to eventually marry, I've been his wife in his eyes. His family, I'm his wife. So before there was a ring, a marriage certificate, anything, in his eyes, I was his wife.
Got you. So the first wife now, how did she receive it all? And how long were they married first? How long was he married to his first wife?
Before me,
Yeah.
a year and a half.
Okay, so he was married for a year and a half, first wife.
Maybe
now,
2.
Okay. Now, how does she take it?
It's been up and down. So in the beginning, the way she received the news wasn't ideal because I guess his plan was to come and sit her down and explain to her thoroughly. But of course, we're on a time restraint. So he needs to figure out what I'm willing to do before it even becomes a discussion, I guess.
Right.
Because I don't think he's necessarily looking for another wife. It just so happens that he met me and
Fell in
love.
And we got to understand, you all, African culture now is not what we would think America is. So there are some different ways of approach when it comes to a man having interest for another wife. Is there some formalities he must follow, or is there he's got to discuss with her, right? And
these are things. So ideally, yes. I don't know. I know like the Muslim culture is a little bit different, and then as a chief, things are a bit different. So I'm not sure of the true. I think it's a gray area. I'm not sure.
okay. So, but how does she receive it all, the information?
So in the beginning, because she found out through the grapevine, not so well.
Ooh, okay, all right, okay.
She found out because while we were in Cape Coast, when he was coming to have a discussion with me, the rumor mill started that he was there with a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and it came back, and that was a problem. But once I came here, and she got to know me, things were good.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Her parents call me their daughter. They call my kids their grandkids. When she gave birth to their son, she stayed here with me.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, when she heard through the grapevine, it was a whole different story, which I understand. But
Right.
I try to also explain to her the story, the atmosphere around how it all happened. In that, how do you tell your wife, oh, I'm boarding a bus in 2 hours to go find another wife, I'll be back later. So now that I know him more, I understand that he wanted to come back and have a full discussion, full conversation, but I'm on a time restraint, so you don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just circumstantially, it was told through the rumor mill.
Okay, okay.
But I also really appreciated his level of honesty when he told me he had a wife.
So he told you he had a wife, okay.
Before he even asked about me, he told me, I have a wife. That's part of a chieftaincy. You can't be a chief without having a wife.
Okay, so we already established that his wife was given to him.
Yes.
When he was stooled as a chief.
Yes.
And so that was given him, and then, okay, then y'all connected and stuff like that. They've been married a year and a half. They got any children?
2.
2 children, okay, all right. Thanks, Jeanette Bolton, means a lot, appreciate it, okay? 2 children, and so y'all kind of now, how is it? I mean, families, I hear that, the African families, if you're married more than one wife, you got to treat them equally. You have to, they might live in separate houses or places, and, you got to divide it up, whatever it might be. I mean, How's that working? You know.
Well, you see, he's not here tonight.
Oh, he's not here tonight. Yeah.
He's at his other wife's house.
Oh, okay.
He was here yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But equal is subjective.
Yeah.
And I say that only because we have two different expectations, two different backgrounds, two different levels, I'll say strengths, but in that I'm more of the business-minded wife. I'm more of the let's do this. Let's look over here. Let's do these things. So I'm more guiding him in terms of business. I guide him in terms of understanding how to deal with situations. But to be honest, I'm not at home all day cooking for you.
You're not that type of wife.
I'm not that type of wife.
He got that wife over there to do that.
I'll make sure you eat. Like we went to eat today, you know.
Right.
I'll make sure you eat. But even my children are independent. I've never been the person that wants to cook 3 meals a day. I mean, when I was in the military, I used to say all the time to some of the guys, I need an army wife too, but I don't want the relationship, but I need somebody that can take that responsibility.
Yeah.
So realistically, it benefits me too, because if you want a home cooked, especially a home cooked local meal, you can go to your other wife, but he also has learned to eat more continental dishes. He's tried sushi.
Mm-hmm.
He had a salad for dinner once. It took almost a year to get him to do that. So we have different roles in his life. So can you call it equal? Yes, it's kind of like having children to where they're equal, but you don't treat them the same.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, for instance,
For those who just joined in, if you can hold off on your questions, we're going to get there in probably about 5 more minutes, okay? We did backdrop, and we're just building up to this right here, and then you can ask those questions. I'm just going to hit it with some of the main major questions that I've been hearing from people and myself that I've been wanting to ask, and then we can go forward with that with the rest of the questions. Sit tight. I know this is very interesting, so okay. So now, the sisters, okay, so y'all's relationship is now at a place to where, okay, you're there, she's there, and, the African culture is he's doing his respectful, responsible thing as a husband, and you have y'all's way of doing things in your household that he respects and what he has attracted him to you. Because you're more on an intellect side that you say it, you're more, instead of the pitter-pat of the heart type of woman, because, you've grown up and mature at an age where, you're not that little starstruck and love, like the little baby, what they call the little teenage love stuff,
Yeah.
You're more now in the sense of like, hey, if we're going to do something, we're going to be a team, we're going to build and stuff like that. You're looking at it in that sense of it. Versus on the other side, he has a traditional African wife who is there to raise children and also to,
take care of the home.
Take care of the home and all that there. Those days are over for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
My kids came after themselves.
They can carry out, your kids can carry after themselves.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, so let me ask this question. For respect for African Tigress who's out there, much respect to you because, hey, I respect what you're doing out there. I'm going to ask you a question. Would you invite wife number 3 into this marriage thing?
That was an agreement.
It was like, oh, okay. So she said no, it was agreement. So the topic came up that you would not be willing to accept him to marry a 3rd wife.
No.
Okay. I understand. Yeah.
The way he approached me was, I was given a wife and I had the right to choose my own.
Oh, okay. And you was the chosen one.
I was the choice.
Okay, I feel you.
Up until the day we got married, I said, "Are you sure you want to marry me?" Mm-hmm. You had plenty of outs.
Yeah, because it's been almost 2 years officially for y'all to get married. Yeah. Okay.
It's not easy, and he'll tell you himself. If he had not been a chief, he wouldn't have 2 wives.
He wouldn't have 2 wives if he was not a chief.
If he was willing to if he was able to make a choice from the beginning of who he was going to marry, he would not have 2 wives. And he actually himself would say it's hard. you can't be half a husband. You gotta be 200% of a husband. It's not easy.
Now, y'all folks, look, we're gonna do an interview tomorrow with both of them, all right? And so you'll be able to even hear his side, tomorrow, because they own land, which they are on the lake. What's the name of the lake?
Lake Blossom Tree.
Lake Blossom Tree that I'm taking a look at, and possibly I'm interested in purchasing some land from them. So tomorrow we'll be doing an interview with both of them. Okay, all right. So you were the chosen one. He was given a wife, the first wife, but he wanted to make a choice for his second wife, and you were the chosen one. Okay, and so go ahead and say what you were saying.
So for that, I asked him, "Are you going to choose to have more?" And he's like, I'm like, so I needed to be able to understand that this is not a collect-a-wife situation. And because for me, I'm looking to do so much to grow together. What do I look like trying to grow for 3, 4, 5 wives? And that just becomes more convoluted and more messy. So basically that was one of those things that's like, okay, so I've accepted your culture to the point where, okay, you can have 2 wives, but you're telling me that you only want another wife because you want to be able to choose the wife that you have.
Okay.
So if this is truly what it is, and I know as a Western culture, the only thing we think about is sex.
Yeah.
So the first thought of 2 wives is he's a horny dog and he wants multiple wives for more sex.
Are men like that?
Some.
Some are. Yeah. Horny dogs. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't want to put I don't want TMI out there, but realistically, my husband's so busy. A lot of times that's the last thing on his mind.
Is it the last thing on your mind?
His mind, not my mind.
Okay, I'm about to say, is it on your mind last mind? Okay. But
I can't even have kids, so I'm free.
Okay, all right, all right. So, all right.
So it's just a very big thing in Western mentality because it's such a sexual-driven society that the first thing we think about is, oh, sex, 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 sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I can guarantee you, at least with my husband, that's not the case. So the thought is, okay, he'll have more because he wants more women to collect women, but he has to take care of all these women. And between the responsibilities of the community, the family, he's got multiple echelons of chieftaincy that he's dealing with. He doesn't have time. Me and other wives still complain about time. He doesn't have time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He spent 5 days in the village
Mm-hmm.
at funerals and settling disputes and such. So what does he have time for another wife?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. So I don't want to add confusion. It's enough trying to get us all to meld together as one.
Okay.
So as we're changing and shifting and growing, it's like though adding that extra on, probably more children and all those things is too much for me personally. So he had a choice to either understand that this is something that I'm asking. So and he asked, like for him it was a choice, for me it was a choice, and we both chose to be with each other.
Okay.
So no third wife.
Okay. All right. Now, would you recommend this to other sisters out there, that's in the diaspora, that may, I would say, might be open, that something maybe that they could explore, or, is it more pros than the cons with it? Is there something that you can enlighten that, the things to be aware of?
It's not for everybody.
It's not in what way?
Coming from the West, where we're used to having all the time in the world that we need with our man,
Mm-hmm.
there's a level of possessiveness, he's mine, which is fine.
Thanks, Lonnie. One love. Appreciate it. Sister, protect your assets.
So everybody's not going to be able to deal with the fact, like I said, my husband's not here tonight.
Hold on, electricity. Hold on. We might be having a we had
in
one
Africa.
earlier. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it went out already today for about what, an hour or so?
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
So it's not for everybody. So again, this is why I also came here and stayed for a while. I didn't just come like I would like people do. You come and get married right away. I came here and I stayed here for basically almost a year and a half. I've been with him 2 years now. Like I've known him for 2 years. And I came here and I settled and stayed just to make sure that this is a life for me. It's not without its challenges, but I say at the same time, nothing grows without resistance.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
So
in other words, you got to be mature for this thing.
yes,
You got to be mature for this.
and have a level of understanding. But I can say that for me, the culture side of things, in terms of the fact that for some people, they can do whatever they want to do to you and say, "Mi paucha, I beg, forgive."
Mm-hmm.
But the forgiveness is so they can come back and do it again.
Yeah.
So for them, people say I'm harsh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm harsh. And I say, no, I'm just no nonsense, plain and simple. You don't get forgiven just to get forgiven. Did you even admit to what you've done? Are you repenting? Are you going to stop doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you don't get my forgiveness. It's not free to that extent. You're not keep stepping on my toes every 5 seconds. So in those cases where it's like, to be honest, his wife is younger than him and younger than me because I'm older than my husband. There's a level of immaturity that I wasn't quite ready for.
Okay.
She has gone back and forth with her level of acceptance of he and I being together.
Okay.
One minute she's here hanging out, we're joking, laughing, without my husband here, just she and I, and the next minute she won't agree.
Okay.
But I recognize that as her lack of maturity. So as time progresses, I've come here, I haven't done anything ill. I haven't tried to take him away. I haven't whisked him off to America. I haven't alienated you or your children. Like I said, when you gave birth, you stayed here with me. I'll walk that baby up and down the hallway to get him to sleep so you can rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I've come in trying to
Wow.
be part of the family, offer to help start businesses. I'll invest. What do you want to do? I want to start an NGO. You want to be on the board? So I've come in really trying to be a part of the team.
You know what I like about that is that definitely shows maturity, y'all, because I mean, for a woman to be able to accept another woman on both ends, the first wife and yourself, and yet you're accepting of her children and his children, and willing to sacrifice and to give up the time, give up maybe some of it could be some of your what y'all building for. It could be finances. It could be any of numerous things. That takes a total different mindset than what we are accustomed to in America. Now, let me ask this right here, and then we're gonna, after this question, we can open up for questions. There again, for those who do super chats, their questions are gonna be answered first. And the reason why is because I know a lot of people got questions, and we're on this live here that I have set up, and it flashes through and it just fades away. So too many coming in, I'm gonna be unable to do that. Lonnie, One Love, you said, do y'all live under the same roof? I think she kind of answered that right there.
No.
No?
No.
Part-time?
No.
Okay, so
I let her come stay here when she gave birth because
I think was he talking about the guy? Not guy, your husband. Sorry.
the guy,
Your husband.
he goes back and forth.
Yeah.
He was here yesterday.
So he stays under the same roof with you when it's his time with
Yes.
you, and then goes back.
Yes.
The first wife does not stay under your roof.
No.
She has her own house.
Yes.
Got you. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. Somebody coming in. Okay, all right. I hope we answered your question. Anybody else got some questions here that we can see? There again, we're gonna go with the super chat real quick. So does he have his own house? He splits in between, she said, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have particularly his own house. Maybe I can go back. Yeah, I can. Okay, hold on a second. Is she considered a legal wife?
I am.
Yes, she's a legal wife. She mentioned that they actually had the court, went to the courthouse and everything, and it's all legal as a second wife. Let's see what else we got here. And anything you want to expound on, you can expound on too.
What's I said? The benefits is that I enjoy time to myself. I enjoy time where, because me and my kids were just the three of us for a long time.
Yeah.
So
let me say this right here. Hey, everybody, hit the thumbs up. We got 605 people in this chat. I know this is very interesting. Everybody got to at least like some of this, being educated, or at least, learning, something from it. Hit the like button so this right here can push up information. We can go to the top of the charts. People can go ahead and hear about a sister from America who is the second wife of an African chief. All right. Thank you, Sandra Perry, for giving. I appreciate that. So definitely hit the like buttons and all that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
So I enjoy spending time alone and quiet. Because, if I don't feel like preparing any food at all, my kids can go prepare food for themselves.
Yeah.
So when he's not here, it's a level of reprieve for me. Because culturally, he's used to being served.
Because he's a chief.
He's a chief. I'm teaching him to be a little bit more independent. But I'm not washing your clothes. I bought a machine. Let me show you how to use it.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned earlier, I'm medically retired from the military, so I don't always have the energy to be doing 50 million things. So my belief also is that independence brings more confidence when you know you can do things for yourself. And oddly enough, because of my influence and my lack of being a complete service,
Okay.
his family is astonished about how much he's changed for the good.
Yeah.
I say it's because he's more confident in that when you can have someone do something for you because you don't want to versus because you can't, it changes the way you feel about yourself.
I feel you.
And so it's changed him in that I don't do everything for him.
Let me ask you this right here. This is a question right here. When it comes to family events and stuff, how does that work? Family events or...
I go to, I can't say family because really he, as a chief...
That's a question.
He, for instance, he goes to a lot of funerals, naming ceremonies, weddings, and I do a lot of that with him.
Does his first wife attend any of that?
Only family funerals. This is before I even got here.
Okay, so...
for instance, the Ashanti King has the wife that everyone knows about. But I wouldn't be surprised if he has other wives. You just know about Lady Juliet.
Okay.
So in a way, I've become she to where I am out with him more often. I'm seen with him more often. I go to events with him.
Okay.
Which usually means funerals.
Yeah.
That's a big part of chieftaincy. Funerals. But like I say, the positive is that I get time to myself.
Yeah.
How many women would tell you that, you know what, like, sometimes having a husband's like having an additional child. So it's like when your kid goes to the other parents for the weekend and you get a break. That's kind of what it's like when you go to the other wife's house.
Okay, this next question. From Exist in Nature Media. How does his family feel about you not birthing children?
Well, I've birthed two.
Not from him.
Not from him.
Okay.
We've discussed if it's really imperative that we can do surrogacy. I'd be willing to invest in having a child. I mean, because not even necessarily for him, but I look at myself, I want to bring my bloodline back to the continent too. So we've discussed surrogacy.
Okay.
My inability to have children is purely medical, so it's not like I was like, oh, you know.
Okay. The next question is, oh, okay. Hey, thanks a lot, G Black. Hey, appreciate you for giving. How many wives is he allowed to have? I think she already answered that right there. He just wants two. She was the chosen one. The first wife was actually picked for him. So that right there. What we got? Prodigy or Prodigal has returned. Thank you very much. What's the other questions? Can you have a second husband?
I joke about it all the time. He says no because it's not his culture. I said, well, two wives is not my culture, so can I adopt two different cultures? I say that sometimes to get him to understand from the woman's perspective of what it feels like for him to have two wives. So in order to create more empathy, I literally go through scenarios where I have two husbands and how would you feel about these things. So it's created his ability to be a little more empathetic about what it's like for his wives to have to share him, because it's never in the man's idea to think that, oh yeah, well, I can imagine how this feels. You can't. So two husbands, I've talked about it more as a scenario storytelling to make you think, but is there a second?
Well, how does your kids feel about it? Her kids are teenagers, so how does your
Yeah.
kids feel about it?
I have always been open with my children and explaining things to them and my reasoning behind things. They're fine with it. Again, we've been the three of us for so long that even for them, when he's not here, it just goes back to our usual flow of life. But they neither here nor there.
Are you happy?
They want me to be happy. That's really their biggest thing.
Are you happy?
Most times.
I like that. See, that's being real, I guess, you know. What about the divorce? Is there a divorce allowed in the culture? Somebody asked.
Yes, but it's not so easy. So for instance, me and my husband are married legally through the court system, but also traditionally. So, marrying through the courts is somewhat similar to doing it in America, or divorcing through the courts, but the divorce through the family is basically you got to divorce twice, but yes, divorce is allowed in the culture.
Okay. Hey, you guys, we're getting a lot of questions. Those who really want them answered quick, you can go ahead and do super chat. It'll stand out. I'll be able to answer your questions too. That also is going to help, like I explained to my subscribers and those who are viewing. I appreciate it. There's some countries that don't allow the super chat, but I'm just trying to get to everybody's question. And it's just a lot of them that I'm trying to slow down and ask. But if you want to ask, you know, hey, you can also, like I said, give, because I'm over in Africa. And it's not like we don't have unlimited, minutes and all. So I'm paying every day for minutes to stock up so I can give y'all live on my journey here in Africa. So appreciate that. I've always said before, I would never ask subscriber or beg for money or, try to reach out and try to get you to donate on all these calls right here. But because of places that I'm going and it's very limited, whether it was Wi-Fi or whatever, and minutes, I'm constantly doing this MTN minutes. It's crazy. It's crazy. Definitely. So let me get here. Thank you, Donnie. Goes in. Hey, Donnie. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get to some more questions. How much land does the chief have? I guess you're talking about the community Maybe they have, it's a community, so they have land. I don't know.
A lot.
A lot. I like it like that. Just keep it generic. Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of land. We're going to talk about that too. You know, for who might be interested in some of the land that is for sale from their community, that it has come available. It's still in the works, I guess, right now, and all that there. But her husband, who is a chief, he is also a surveyor, highly respected surveyor, and he ensures that what he does is done right way and is done in the most professional way, to where a lot of people have taken note of his honesty and what he do, that a lot of other chiefs have invited him over to do some of his work. And so we'll be talking about that tomorrow, as far as when we're out there on the land. Hopefully you'll get signal out there that I can do a live.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll see. You know, if not, we'll do a live coming back over this way. Why did she marry as second if she has to make him understand Western? I think she answered that. You got to go back and watch the video. I think you came in late. Let's see here. What are the questions we got, people? How much is your age difference?
Me and my husband's?
Yeah.
6 years.
6 years difference. What's the age difference between the first wife?
Me and her, 9 years.
9 years difference.
Yeah.
Okay. How are your children treated by the family?
Like they were birthed from this family. We get a lot of support from his family.
That's good.
And the funny is also his other wife's family. Like, again, her parents call me their daughter. So I've had nothing but support.
Okay.
Hey, Ernest.
You know Ernest? Okay, all right. Let's see here. Have your family accepted your decision of being a second wife? I think you answered that too.
Yes.
Yes, her family has accepted that. Okay. So, you're 2 years in. 2 years in being together and all that there. What do you see as far as, I know y'all got together, you are helping out in his how you say it?
Chieftaincy.
Chieftaincy. What is he's benefiting on that side. How are you? What is he doing for you? You know, you talked a lot about how you're assisting and helping him. In what ways is he helping you?
My ways are, let's see, I don't know if it'd be convoluted. So I'm able to be myself and fully accepted for who I am. For me, that's very, the words come to mind is refreshing, but it's not refreshing. It allows me to just be. That's what it is. I can just be. But I'm able to use my strengths to be of help, which also helps me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy Lake. Appreciate it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So for me, it's not about a gain of anything materialistic. Of course, I have access to land, but that's not really what I see as my biggest benefit, because, of course, if I want land, I could always just bought land. But it's really being able to be. As a combat veteran with PTSD and everything else, like, not having to worry about, is he gonna look at me crazy if I have a moment? No. If you were saying earlier, he's the water to my fire.
The water to your fire. Yeah.
He's the calm to my crazy.
There you go. There you go. Okay, XP Life now. Ignore the negative comments from the closed-minded individuals. Respect to you for deciding. Oops, excuse me.
What's
put
best
that back.
for you.
What's
Thank
best for
you.
you? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I get the negative comments though. People, closed-minded is one way of looking at it, but I think also, like I said, it doesn't work for everybody. uh, I look at things, if you don't agree with it, then you have to agree with it. But it gives you no reason to judge my decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than, let's say, popular political things in America that happen between pro-choice versus pro-life versus LGBTQ issues. I say live and let live. That's my philosophy on life.
So
You live your life, I live my life, and if you don't like what I'm doing, don't worry about it. I mean, you can have your opinion, that's fine, but I'm living my life, and you can live your life.
nice, nice, nice. Okay, I'll say this right here that in America, we sometimes get stuck in our own way of the Western world, and we'll forget, that we have been taken into a European world, a Western mindset, and an African culture is a lot different than what we even know. And so it's hard to us to even grasp when it comes to, these first, second, third wives or whatever it may be. It's really across the globe, except for really in the European world for the most part.
So, which I realized, I looked it up. The countries that accept polygamy don't accept homosexuality.
Ooh,
And the countries who accept homosexuality don't accept polygamy.
interesting. Hey, Janet Bolton says she's the lady that be eat, love, migrate. Please ask her what does she do with her time, and he's not around. Does she work or have a
I
business?
chill.
You chill.
I hang out with my kids. I read a lot. I might go out and do things with my kids. Business-wise, not yet. I guess because I have the ability to sustain myself, I want to really, when I do business, I want it to be something that I really, really want to do. But I discovered that a lot of us come here thinking we have to come do this to help this people, help that people, but I feel like it was important to come here and settle and figure out where I fit in.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've
it's
been
true.
doing a lot of really, I lived in Accra for a little bit. I'm mostly in Kumasi, but trying to figure out if I can even make money with my passions, where I
Yeah.
can make money. For instance, I'm a photographer, but at this point, I'd rather do photography for my own enjoyment than trying to get paid for the work here, unless I'm going to be selling photos back to like National Geographic or something like that. But I used to do family and child photography and actors' headshots.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that here
I hear you.
because it's not worth my time for the money I'll get paid. So I'll take pictures for my own enjoyment.
Okay. Hey, we got a question from the prodigy girl has returned. If he predeceases you, who holds your fate? His relatives? Let me get to these other ones too. Yeah.
So because we're in a unique position here, because at least in this Ashanti culture, you inherit from your mother culturally, but obviously I'm from a different culture. So when it comes to properties and stuff, we've already discussed that those will be in my name. Because
Y'all hear that, sisters? A power move.
the land and the property will be in my name or my children's names.
Okay, we're gonna leave it there because we're gonna be with these questions, all right? Salute, Queen. This is from Yana Limitless. Salute, Queen. Many of us women in the diaspora need healing, and it's beautiful that a king from Alkebulan stepped forward to grant that love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see what else we have here. We already had that right there. Okay.
He's in
Does she-
Ashanti.
Somebody asked that?
Yeah, about what region he's from.
He's in the Ashanti region. Do you get tired of official duties? If she had to settle disputes, could she refuse?
My husband is very respectful of my wishes. If I'm tired, I'm tired. If I want to do it, I want to do it. He'll put more pressure on himself to relieve pressure from me in those aspects. In that he might come to me and let me know what's going on, and then I can give him my advice and he'll take that. So I do what I want to do in terms of duties, honestly. I have a very accommodating husband. He just wants what's best for me and for me to be happy, even if he doesn't understand it all the time.
Do you have dual citizenship?
Nope.
Okay. Are you going to seek any dual citizenship, or do you have a residence? Or well, by being married to him, kind of changes the game a little bit, right?
Yes. I am looking into more information about dual citizenship. What are the pros and cons of it, especially being a military retiree?
Military retiree.
So I'll get residency, but a citizenship, I haven't decided on that yet. I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, yeah. Hey fam, hey, go ahead and hit those like buttons right there so we can share this information. You know, the more likes you get, you know, it ain't about me trying to get money or nothing like that. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's really about getting the message out and spreading it so many people can go ahead and be able to see the video, and also be able to gain some education about, you know, a different way of life that we are so accustomed to in or they call it America, or, you know, or America.
The United States.
Yeah, or the United Snakes. So, you know, hit the like button, you know, because this is not about, you know, about whether you like the content. It's really about the information that is being shared, that one is willing to come out and just share her experience to you all who might be interested, and to the world that, you know, hey, this is a different way of life, but yet, you know, she decided to go ahead and embark on something different that she calls love, and that they both fell in love, and she was willing to set aside her what one would call her own old schools of beliefs, maybe, in what we call sharing a husband. And so it was some sacrifices that, you know, she decided to be able to do, and to, I guess, embark on a new challenge of life and journey. She says that she's definitely done it for love. It was not no business deal or anything like that. She was chosen as the second wife, as the first wife was given to her husband, who's the chief of the community. And so she's happy. So we got a question right here from Andrea Jackson. I'm sorry, Andre Jackson. Writing so small. How is it dealing with the combat PTSD in Ghana? I've been wondering how to maneuver upon making my jump.
It honestly depends on what your triggers are. For me, one of the hardest things to deal with is the driving, because I drive here. So while I don't want anyone driving me, I drive myself, but the style of driving is very reminiscent of being in Iraq for me. So my anxiety does go up sometimes. But again, the beauty is that I can come home and chill after that. And I've learned to kind of work around hours to know when it's best for me to be out on the road. And if I can't drive, if my husband's with me, he'll drive. He prefers for me to drive though. But if it's too much for me, he'll drive. Or if it's something I need and I don't want to drive, he'll pick it up for me.
Okay.
Outside of that, the mosque, to call the prayers, is something, of course, in America, we don't have things consistently like that. So I've grown a little more accustomed to that, but really for me, the driving is the most difficult part. But the way I address mostly is that I know that my life's not in danger here. So even if my body has a reaction to the anxiety mentally, I know that I'm safe.
Okay. Yeah. So have you thought about getting a driver? Maybe can you hire a driver or anything like that?
That requires people. I trust people to drive me around.
That's right. You did say that's right. Yeah.
Even in Iraq, I was always the driver. I don't want people driving me anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even my husband, that's why he wants me to drive, because he'll be driving and I'll be out.
I was in a car with him, so yeah. Yeah.
He's like, baby, you drive.
Okay, one of the questions is that what if he changes his mind and really wants a third wife? That's the question. I'm just, hey, I'm asking the question.
So, knowing myself, it had to be a discussion, and why? Because if it comes down to there's something that I'm not fulfilling, then it can be a discussion. If it comes down to selfish want, then you can still have two, because I'll leave.
Yeah, I mean, hey, sound like a mature answer to me. I mean, hey, I think she just answered that question. That there was a question about the second wife. Everybody's asking about the third wife. If he changes his mind, that's the fourth question I've seen. That's I'm not gonna answer that one.
That's been a discussion, I'll say that much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that one. Okay, we got. Can you read it? My eyes right there. What's that?
Black.
G Black. G Black. I would say G Black. Yo. Interview. Search for Uru. Interviewed the husband and wife together last year. Sure did. Yeah, interviewed them. If I recall correctly, she said she had to be the last wife. Yeah, she said that, and you're still sticking to it.
Like I said, if it comes down to it, if it's a reason, if you're saying you want to take a third wife, and I'm all about discussion, communication. So if it comes down to the good reason for it, it really would be dependent. But in general, I will say no, because like I said, I think it's just going to create too much confusion, too much figuring out. You don't even have time for yourself, let alone your wives. So how do you take on another one? And again, it's a big difference in here. Traditionally, the man goes out and works and brings money home for food. So it's kind of like, as long as he's
bundle, yeah, replied. Let me see here. Reply. Let's see.
Do you have it on HD? Might want to
I got it on 7:12. Hold 1 second, folks. I gotta load some more minutes on here.
Welcome to Ghana.
Yeah,
Unlimited what?
I think y'all probably can hear me, but I'm loading minutes in. Ghana does not expire by. Airtime. All right, hold up. We're not even recording.
It is.
It's recording? We kind of stuck with the picture.
Still.
Yeah, it's still clicking, but we're kind of frozen.
Oh.
Yeah. Can y'all hear? Can y'all see us? Because the screen is frozen. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see it? We can hear you. We can hear you. It has basically not showing the video and all that there. So it says I can see you. Is the screen frozen to you all? I know y'all can hear.
Well, we look crazy on the screen.
You're frozen. Okay, all right. Well, what we're going to do, family, like I said before, we tomorrow with the husband and also Miss Ya. And so that I'm going to have to go ahead and load up more minutes on this right here because I ran out. Gosh, boy, that money go fast. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and post one video tomorrow and give y'all, or post not a video, but do a post to let you know what time it's going to be for the live, to give everybody a heads up. I'll schedule it, and then everybody can go ahead and chime in. There again, everybody hit the like button, and so that we can go ahead and just get this message out there, so many people can go ahead and just get educated. We're just trying to bring awareness, and this is what the channel is about, bringing awareness up to Africa, to different cultures, let you all know that there are people that are from the diaspora who are coming and are accepting of the African culture. There are those who are marrying into the culture. There are those who are doing business in the culture. There are those who are doing various things within the culture here in the continent. And so with that, you all, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa.